All right, so everybody be quiet. Just wait after my announcement. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Irongeek Cast number 130. Bye-bye, goodbye, Google Hangouts. Stuttering all that. We're having some problems getting everything to function properly. Hopefully everybody can hear us. If you can, go ahead and type something in the chat. Viewers, that is, not the people who are actually participating. We're trying to use Jitsi to do all this, and we had it working this weekend, and then we started having all sorts of problems.
And that is an understatement.
All right. So we got this going. All right, exit full screen. Yeah, bear with us. We'll get used to this new format. Now I got to figure out where it gives me the link to actually
Can you just share out the link from your YouTube to the?
That's what I don't have that right now though. I have this
Okay.
This live streaming console instead.
Oh, okay. I guess I wasn't able. Yeah, no, I wasn't able to get my side all figured out.
Okay, I'm still looking for where this particular link is.
I have the YouTube video open.
Oh,
so
where'd you find it?
I opened the YouTube video on your channel. Here, I'll put it in the side chat here. There you go.
Okay, I want to figure out all this by myself also, though, so I have it, The link is. All right, that's good. Let me get that out on Twitter then.
Yep.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you ask me where I found it?
I found it. I know where to find it now.
Okay. All right. I had double playing, so I was like, wait, which Adrian? Is this the current Adrian or the past Adrian?
I'm sorry. Are you from the past?
All right, that's out there. All right, everybody, how y'all doing this week?
Busy. Not in Vegas, but very busy.
Oh, by the way, one thing I found out about the live streams is it totally botches carriage returns when you paste it into that particular field.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Google Hangouts was getting rid of that was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean it's not a perfect system. We'll have to learn the quirks, but it's there. I mean, we're not stuck to it. So if someone has something better, by all means.
Well, I think most of the problem is on YouTube's side of it, though. So I don't think it's Jitty that's the problem.
Yeah, their live stream is a little janky. Yeah.
Well, I'm doing pretty good this evening. Happy wonderful Wednesday, everyone. It's the BSD Bandit.
Yep.
I'm not in DEF CON either. Just busy week between hunting threats and making them. Just kidding. Not enough time. How's everyone else doing this evening?
Well, let's ask Darren.
Not too bad. Just kind of like happy, not kind of busy, and not in Las Vegas either. So. Yeah.
Something tells us we were the smart ones.
After hearing about what we've been talking about off air, yeah. Jack just joined. How you doing, dude?
Yeah, I'm good.
Sweet. All right.
Welcome to the party, Jack. Yeah.
I will say beforehand, apologies for not having anything in the notes. Israel is out on and working Black Hat this week, and my excuse is I've had 10-hour days and a bunch of flights, so I've had very little time to do any research and stuff like that. But after this week, it should be back on track. So
No,
I do have a
Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. I do have a couple of things that I will just briefly mention as things that I've seen come up, but I have not done a whole lot of research into how, what, when, and all that stuff on them. Kind of been stuck in this engagement that I'm on right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as well. I've been working on engagement this past week, really past week and a half. Got some interesting stuff and everything else, and apparently they want to do some more cool stuff with us, so that's always a good thing. Always good to stay busy. So it's just been kind of quiet, but nevertheless, we're here to make an awesome show.
Yeah, definitely going to be taking away some cool techniques in the next coming months that I pick up from other stuff that I've been seeing. So that's actually interesting. Like we can, because Charles, you've been doing a lot of threat hunting lately.
Mm-hmm.
Is that stuff that you're bringing constantly into your own toolbox now, or is it pretty like tailored to what service it's attacking, so that it's not like a generalized exploit that you can easily port over to day-to-day pen testing?
Well, you know what I'm actually, doing now. So, and I'm glad you brought that up. So, and I'm pretty sure everyone's aware now that the Empire PowerShell project is dead.
Yep.
And I guess it's just from a standpoint. It's not because of people, because PowerShell keeps getting caught up by the antivirus. That's not the reason why it's dead. It's just that people don't have time to keep the project alive with development. Everybody's kind of going their separate ways or whatnot. Not because there's any issues or anything. It's just that it's just time, So, and the reason I bring this up is that so as a threat hunter, and just doing what threat hunting does for me, as far as like adding to my toolbox, is just from a thought process perspective, not any tool per se, but it gives me a different way of thinking, if that makes sense. So when I'm actually on an engagement, I'm actually I have kind of like the threat hunting process in the back of my mind, because I'm like, okay, as I'm searching for different things, I'm thinking that they might have somebody on their team that's a threat hunter that might be trying to catch me during an engagement. So that forces me to look through other techniques. And one of the techniques I've been looking at as of late, these last couple of days, is actually trying to learn a little bit of C#. Kind of go a little bit further than what just PowerShell. Because how many companies out there are actually just looking for? I'm trying to see if I can find a way to run legitimate Windows commands through not just PowerShell but through C# to be able to, maybe I could do something interesting from that level, as opposed to just always relying on PowerShell to actually do any type of post exploitation. So, I mean, from a threat hunting perspective, it's kind of made me, kind of
go for the
resharpen my mindset.
Go for the outside of the box thinking.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's not per se a tool.
Yeah, and that's a big thing right now from what I've been seeing from my threat hunting-ish activities. Has been a lot of stuff's moving into C#, and specifically into the .NET Core. There's a bunch of tools that have come out, specifically Silent Trinity and Covenant. Those are two. Silent Trinity was built by the same guy who did CME and I think there was one more. I think it was CME, and then I think he also contributed to the Responder project a while ago. It was Responder or Empire. I don't remember. Um, and he did a lot of work on the PowerShell exploitation side of things. But now, since .NET Core, which is C Sharp, is now on all platforms, that's going to be a great tool to use in the future for any sort of pen testing and also for defending.
Agreed.
Because having like a unified deployment or management script, or even just having like, hey, I'm just going to throw this at every system and it will work.
Yeah. But you know something? I'm in a way, I'm kind of, and I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers about this the other day. I'm kind of glad that the Empire project is dead, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm looking at it from, like every few years we need something dramatic to happen. Not dramatic, but we need something to happen in InfoSec where it makes us change our way of thinking. And I think a lot of us have become very reliant on just PowerShell and Empire as far as like, pulse exploitation, that we never really paid attention to C Sharp. I mean, there's probably some guys out there and gals that were really already on that level, but I think now with this project dying, it kind of shifted everyone's thinking now to really focus on something different.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even some of the because I know I'm a little curious what's going to happen to Bloodhound actually, because isn't that all PowerShell as well?
Well, you know what I think it is, but you know what I think it'll happen? It'll spawn into Python. It could spawn into Python, or maybe C Sharp. I mean, and again, remember, Bloodhound is a tool, and I learned this from my great coworker. Shouts to you, Reverse Shell. You know who you are. Bloodhound. All Bloodhound is, I mean, everything that Bloodhound can do, you can do manually. It's just Bloodhound is just all in one package, as far as like enumerating and finding the best attack path surface when it comes to attacking Active Directory. But that's stuff that you can do manually with a series of tools. It's just that Bloodhound just makes it a lot easier and has the awesome mapping and everything else. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So again, that can spawn into any language. So it's just somebody just with the time and really the time to actually create something different, which I'm pretty sure it will come out. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I really think that I really think any pen testers out there, or if you're looking at getting into pen testing, definitely consider if you get offered the chance to get into threat hunting, because that'll change your whole perspective on how you do pen testing, because now you're looking at it from all spectrums and not just one spectrum. It's not all. My motto is it's not all about the offense. It's all about everything. Meaning red, blue, and of course purple. So that's just the way I look at it now.
Oh, by the way, guys, it's not coming up in tile view on the YouTube stream. And I have it on tile view in my view, so I don't know what's going on with that. And at some time, Charles might want to add, what did you call it, a Gravicon?
Gravatar. Yeah, I'm gonna add Gravatar. Yeah, I gotta get that straight situated. I may add a BSD humping Linux. I don't know.
That did not make me laugh that much.
Hey, that's BSD's guys. Gotta keep it live. Yeah. And
Mary Penguin.
and
Got a GNU all over you.
I also want to shout. Speaking of BSD, I want to shout. Well, he might not want me shouting him out like that, but I just want to shout out one of my followers actually got me a T-shirt. The BSD Run BSD. They actually get that T-shirt showed up at my household. So somebody did some awesome OSINT and household and sent me a Run BSD T-shirt. So that was pretty awesome, and that's why I wore it yesterday in the video. So shouts to you. You know who you are. Yeah. But,
that's creepy, but also amazing.
It is. But I enjoy it, man. It's fun. I will say this: with DerbyCon, I will be going all out. I'm gonna have some fun with this thing. I just really can't wait to see everybody. Mental Health Hacker Village, Evil Mom. We got to drop some cool stuff. Of course, Irongeek himself and you guys. So everybody here, I'm assuming, will be there. Correct?
Yep.
I will be.
Sweet.
At Derby, I will not. Actually, I can't get out there.
Oh.
I know. I want to. I can't.
What's the next con you're trying to go to?
Wait, what, Charles?
I said, what's the next conference you're trying to go to?
Besides DFW.
DFW.
That's easy to go to.
Where
DFW.
DFW. Where's that?
I can't go. I can't go.
Dallas,
to that
Fort
one.
Worth. Yeah, I know you can't, Jack. Shut up.
when is that?
Dallas, Fort Worth.
Yeah, when? I said when.
Oh, when? It's November.
November. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I look into that.
You guys care on the show notes as you see fit. I had to rush home from where I was at to get it started late, even. So I have to go use the restroom. So y'all continue with the cast without me for a while.
Yeah, definitely. Just to wash your hands.
Make sure you wipe.
Yes.
Not in that order.
Oh my God, no.
Or sure if you're into that.
But yeah, for all you pen testers out there, yeah, definitely. Please, like I said, just get into some type of threat hunting, or if you're at a place where they're not doing any type of threat hunting, make up your own threat. We're in a time of innovation. So if there's no one out there, if you're in a place where they're not doing any type of threat hunting, do your own threat. Set up your own lab. See what you can find on your own. I mean, it may sound weird, but I mean, it's a start, right? Definitely, it will change your whole mindset, and you'll have some fun with it. Hey, Nick, how's it going? Nick Riker, excuse me. Well, Nick Riker says that the Discord link in the Google Doc is not working. Joe VA, what's up, man?
I'll see what I can do for that Discord link later. Later on this week when I'm back, or it might have been that it was a temporary link and not a permanent link. Yeah.
So I mean that's pretty cool stuff. Also too, I mean I beat the threat hunt horse to death. Anybody got anything else?
Well, just to piggyback a little bit off the C# thing, learning that's going to be super helpful, and I'm going to beat the Docker horse a bit here.
Beat it. I have some questions too for you.
Oh, sweet. So I don't know when this is going to happen. I don't have a roadmap available to me on this for sure, but Microsoft will be adopting Docker to replace Hyper-V. So that is something to look forward to. However, I don't know what kind of capacity those containers are going to have in terms of if they're going to be Linux based or if they're Windows based, because Windows is already looking at making somewhat of a Windows container. But if it's on the Windows operating system, I would not be surprised if C# is also within there too. So break out the C# to break out of the container and then break everything else. Break.
Well, looks like sounds like the abuse is going to continue. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I can see a lot of things that could go wrong, especially when you have think of like your normal Windows environment right now that you see on a typical pen test, or just think of your Windows environment. You're going to be running stuff that's going to be talking out into NTLM, whatever, and all this other stuff. Now imagine a bunch of containers that are just sitting there on a machine, possibly privileged containers, which this also means is that it's basically as if you're on the host itself, but yeah, it could be very, very bad, and it could be like you could run Mimikatz within a container and drop NTDS within a container, but you're actually dropping the host. Stuff that I've been thinking about that I'm not predicting, but I'm kind of predicting.
In an interesting way.
I just see stuff going bad with it for a while, like 3 to 5 years.
Now, that question is related to Docker. So, and this is just me trying to sharpen the Docker attack skills. Would you recommend putting like just because you know how like with VulnHub you got the vulnerable VMs, and would you recommend the same thing with like with Docker? Is there like I guess like part of like a pen testing lab, just images themselves, like vulnerable Docker images that you could just dump into the lab, or from like just from a practicing standpoint?
Yeah. So actually, the thing that I'm gonna mention is something that you actually gave me. There's a site that Charles found for me a while back called vulnerablecontainers.org. And yeah, you can go ahead and this also kind of, apparently we're talking about threat hunting a lot today. Or at least vulnerability hunting or whatever. What you can do is you can pull down those images, and at that site, it's got a list of all the CVEs that are present there. Now, depending on if there's a Metasploit module or anything like that, or a lab that you can play around in, or like a lab-like environment that you can play around with it, that's kind of up to you. But you could also use it as like a spot to build out malware and have that as your, or build out your exploits. You could have that as your kind of exploit writing lab. Is probably what I'm going to be doing here whenever I have some more free time.
You just gave me an idea.
Yeah.
It's amazing how the gift that keeps on giving, because I'm definitely going to dump these into my lab, and I'm going to call it Docker Death Portal.
Oh, yes. Another thing that you can do, there is a vulnerability scanning tool for Docker images itself. It's called Trivy, and Israel showed it to me about 20 times before I downloaded it and got it all running. But it's on GitHub. It's I forget who makes it, but the tool is called Trivy, Trivy, and that will be something that you can run against a image, and you can see all the CVEs and what it's doing. Now, I actually did this on a couple of the images that I knew were being leveraged in botnets. So running it against that, I actually found a bunch of vulnerabilities that were like, oh wait, like we could, if you were authorized and willing and able, you could hack back pretty easily. And I was like, huh, I'm not gonna do that because I'm not gonna do that.
This sounds an awful like a conversation you and I had in private like a week or so ago. I think it was like right before, or it was like right after last week's cast, I think. Because you and I were talking about this over Twitter. Yeah, because I know you. I was asking about Docker stuff because we were facing some Docker challenges at work. We have a bunch of retards at work who download stuff from any random website.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah.
Oh yeah. Yo, yeah. I just sent you.
Shout out to the retards at work for giving us content.
They download the random Docker containers from RussianHacker.org. So yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh,
even better.
Wow, really?
Even better.
Those are so trustworthy.
My favorite thing.
Those are so trustworthy.
My favorite thing when I was researching all these or all the botnets was looking at the ones that were coming from these Chinese Docker repositories, and I was like, yeah, no. I'm like, I'm not even putting that near my machine. It was bad.
The peekaboos.
Yeah. Also, be careful when Googling Chinese usernames. You'll get some interesting stuff sometimes.
That's what Beige used for.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I keep it local. Also, too, I've been also, so here's what I've been looking at lately, too. Just speaking of just, like, images, but just, like, portability. Also been looking at, like, using... And I know probably, I'm pretty sure it's been done before, but like just digging deeper, like using Python as more so as a weapon. So, like, far as like looking at what's already out there, like tools wise, but like from a networking standpoint. So, I've been really researching like how, especially with DNS attacks, right? Since I've been playing around with attacking Windows a lot lately. So with DNS attacks and just creating a Python script that's like a fake, like say like a fake DNS server, where you can actually do like different zone transfers and everything else out there. I'm pretty sure they have tools out there, but it's just me just trying to, just create something for myself and just have some fun that way as well too, and see what I come up with. But using the programming languages as weapons now. And like I said, this all stems from, again, our earlier conversation, for those who missed it, about threat hunting and C#. So I really started looking at programming languages and actually taking those, using those as little weapons and little, may say minions or droids or however you want to call it, from that standpoint. So taking Python, if I'm attacking DNS, hey, make a fake DNS server, or maybe make a fake... maybe like a little Samba, a knockoff Samba type thing, just different things, little simple tools.
You know what that game. So another thing you can do with that is you could have and here's something that I'm also it's another project, but doing stuff like that, scripting out your own attacks, putting them into a Docker file, and putting up a deployment of just, okay, cool, I want to take over this entire network, deploy this Docker stack, or this Docker this Docker cluster as like my pen test cluster. I'm doing, man, in the middle of attacks, I've got to Metasploit listener up. I've got responder running, all that kind of stuff. So a little bit of an automation thing, little bit, but it could still be something to be like, okay, cool. This will just bring up all of my tools on at least an internal perspective. On an external perspective, there's some other stuff too.
You know what? And I just thought it, and I know this sounds weird. That what you just said, the little Docker. The image that popped up in my head is like a little snail, and you put the little snail in the fish tank to clean up all the messy stuff around the big fish tank. That's where that little Docker image can go and just start doing some fun stuff.
Oh yeah,
weirdness. But yeah.
Instead of one snail, you can do like a million.
Many snails just eating up everything that's within the fish tank to keep it clean.
All the snails.
I don't know. Yep, something like that. So, what do you think about Packet Tracer? Packet Tracer's pretty cool. I mean, I haven't given it much thought lately, but it definitely could be something to think about. SBC Valdez asked about what do we think about Packet Tracer.
Oh, Specialist Valdez.
Oh, okay. I'm out here spelling out, sounding out letters. SPC.Valdez.
Packet Tracer.
Yeah.
Visual simulation.
I mean, I haven't.
Yeah.
It's a tool. It's a cross-platform tool.
Yeah, and I mean, I haven't had anything to do with Packet Tracer in years. So.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I think I was just starting out with Wireshark.
Yeah, I'm still working. Yeah.
But these days I'm T-Sharking it.
Mm-hmm.
What's the Python module?
I mean, I could see. Now you got me thinking, because the only time that I've used Packet Tracer was to figure out the simulation stuff, but I know there's some other tools like it that can actually map out your environment a little bit more.
Well, I mean, there's tools like that for a while now, like, what was it, Land Monitor? It's one of the really old ones that does, like, simple land work. What is it, shit. There's one similar to it, I'm trying to remember the name of it. These are, like, old diagnostic tools that were used for, like, network mapping back in the early days, back before, you know, when things were still fairly flat.
Right. I thought it was cool once because I did a packet trace and I saw it bounce off a satellite and I thought that was extra cool.
Ping, ping, ping.
Yeah.
No. I mean, like it would hit New York, and then it would disappear, and then reappear back in South, and it would reappear in South Africa. I was like, yeah, it bounced off a satellite. That's cool.
That's awesome. Let me just packet trace into space. Oh my gosh, that'd be. Can you imagine like pen testing a network that has satellites hooked up to it? That would be tight. It's like,
that'd be very interesting.
Well, Cap, you're still of age. Just all you have to do is just go see a recruiter and get lied to.
I will be doing the lying in my job. Please, not being lied to. Yes, please click on this link. No, I will not join your army.
It's okay. Let's go to Red Lobster and sign this paperwork.
With some cheese biscuits.
Jack is some sort of sleeper recruiter.
No, I'm not.
He's a fad.
You asked.
Whatever you say, Blue Falcon.
Caw.
Wait, is anyone else understand that aside from me and Jack?
I know what. Yeah, Blue Falcon.
Blue Falcon is buddy fucker. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, buddy's half the word.
I thought it was specifically brother fucker, but I guess buddy fucker is more inclusive.
Yeah, fuck your buddy, huh? Yeah.
The plugger.
Jack the type of guy who'll fuck you without give you a reach around. Exactly.
And no, a plugger is an ancient GPS model that replaced the slugger.
And Blue Falcon does it again. Hey, Valdez, check out this. This will be pretty cool. I just posted in the chat about PyShark. That's a module I like using when I want to parse packets. It's based off of Wireshark and T-Shark, but if you like Python, you can play around with some of that and packet parsing and have some fun that way too.
That's something that I gotta look into a bit. Is not that I've been able to, and the kind of engagement I'm on right now, most of the time you're not gonna see any Wireshark stuff. You're literally just gonna be getting log files. So maybe doing some sort of log, like generic enough log parsing scripts might be interesting.
It's just something to kind of gather some information. Because also too, here's something to think about too when you're on pen testing engagements, and a lot of us as attackers kind of forget about IPv6. Like we think if we're not finding anything in the IPv4 side of the house, and me, I just like I said, I'm guilty of it too. A lot of times, we're so busy attacking IPv4, and of course, web apps and everything else that go along with it, that we forget about IPv6 during the engagement. And you can find some really juicy stuff in the IPv6 world as well, because remember, a lot of places, although they're not using IPv6, Windows by default has that turned on. And I think some other operating systems have that turned on by default as well too. So you can really do some funky stuff with IPv6 that way as well. And that's another way to find some very interesting stuff that can lead you down a wonderful path.
Unless your firewall has it shut off by default because it doesn't support it.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, a lot of places do have IPv6 running internally, where you can find some, interesting stuff, especially with man-in-the-middle attacks. Just saying.
And that's something that's also going to be changing too, is that, well, I don't know on the internal side, but on the external side for sure, it's going to be moving towards IPv6. Which means get ready to start memorizing your hex if you haven't already.
Hex, hexy, hex.
I'm more saying that for myself than anyone else.
I'm taking note too, sir. So I must.
And I'm just ready to. I'm just like internally screaming at myself on the inside, just going, "Oh no!" It's like I just got this. Oh well, times are changing.
Yeah, it is. I love it. Change is good. Sometimes. I think it's good when we try to do it on our own, as opposed to when it's forced upon us.
I see.
Sometimes.
I see it going both ways sometimes. Like sometimes it's good to have something forced a little bit. Like
Yeah.
like with the Empire, we've been talking about Empire and stopping development. I mean that going down means okay. Well, we can use it for a little bit, but eventually it's just going to get everything's caught, and it's either someone else picks up the project, or more stuff just spawns from it. I mean, there's a ton of other tools out there that are going to be catching the jet stream or whatever, or in the slipstream of Empire right now that are going to surpass it. Tools like Covenant, Silent Trinity, Impacket, all this stuff are more manual tools, but you're not going to have like one giant suite of tools. But I mean, it might be a good time to start thinking, okay, cool, I can't use this anymore. How do I make something for myself that does what I want it to, and maybe do stuff that isn't there already. Greatest innovations sometimes are made from voids that need to be filled.
This is true. And I too, for one, want to get better at hiding my traffic from people. Not for illegal purposes, but I just want to get better.
For sure.
So yeah, pretty much all I have. Oh, there's an app for Hex. Are you asking that question, Valdez, or you're telling us there's an app for Hex?
Like translating it?
No, he said there's an.
Yeah, Windows Calculator will do it for you. I mean, come on.
Is he asking that, or I don't know if he was asking or if he was telling us?
No, there's pretty much an app for anything and everything. So.
Yep, there's an app for everything.
Just gotta memorize the bytes.
I wonder if there's an app for how many times you go to the bathroom.
Probably yes, there is. Let me find it.
Well, damn. Oh my god, are you serious?
I'm gonna find it.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna find it.
Bro, what part of app for everything didn't you understand?
Hey man, some things I know it's an app for everything. I just didn't think it was everything. Or did it do white counts and everything too? How many times you white?
Well, there's a bathroom finder.
I don't know about that one, but I do know that R. Kelly put out an app. You know.
Oh, never mind.
Find my basement.
Oh my god.
I think it was like 2013 or 2014. Someone put an app on the Apple iTunes store. With a game of Shake the Baby.
Oh,
so had a crying baby, and you shook your phone until it died. And yeah, I mean, it was only there for like 12 hours or so, but there's an app for everything.
Sure.
Sit or squat, restroom finder. It's from Charmin. Oh. Charmin made it.
No.
Not even kidding.
Remember the old school video game, The Shitter or something? Hold on, I'm gonna find it.
No, I do not.
Hold on. Game. I'm gonna try to see if I can still find it. Yeah, I gotta find that. Yeah.
maybe you're thinking of like Boogerman or something, are you?
No, not Booger Man. It was some other thing.
Okay.
Yeah, where you have to make it to the bathroom on time or something. I know you know what the fuck.
I think we just figured out how Charles was potty trained.
Video games can do some interesting things.
Life skills, heavy on the air quotes. Don't need to go to the bathroom if you're constantly on. Wait, that's a medical issue.
Yeah, it is. That is.
All right, well, Charles is figuring that out. In other news, and more so just my notifications, there is a new variant of Spectre and Meltdown. It is called Deja Woohoo. Or Woo. I don't know. It's a dumb name. Let's take a look at this. Pulling it up. So, Intel chips running Windows are potentially vulnerable to a scary Spectre variant. It's called SwapGS. And it can be abused to siphon sensitive secrets from kernel memory. Patches are already available for it at this time. And it's the same kind of thing that we've seen before on the Intel x86 64 systems, and also on AMD's 64 x86 processors to a lesser extent. Same kind of thing that we saw with Spectre and Meltdown. It would grab an address. Charles, your mic is getting really loud. Charles.
Yeah. Is that my mic?
Yep. Your mic is getting really loud.
That's
for some reason.
Okay. Hold on. I'll fix that.
All right. It's just I'm forgetting what I always forget what the thing's called. But yeah, so with the SwapGS attack, let's see, what does this look like? Oh, that is a YouTube video, which I could share, but I'm on my phone. Red Hat's got a write-up on it, and it basically just changes the address space as it did before with Spectre and Meltdown, and potentially can find some hidden secrets in there. Apple isn't believed to be affected with this. It just seems to be PC hardware that it specifically with Intel and AMD. So weirdly, Apple is out of this mix, which is odd. So they might have had some weird microcode change that actually prevented this in the first place, or it hasn't been tested on Apple devices yet. I don't know. So no exploits have been found in the wild. This is very much a research paper kind of situation. Same thing that happened with Spectre and Meltdown. Everything was pretty much... It was such a difficult vulnerability to exploit when there were other easier, more low-hanging fruit vulnerabilities available that it really did not become as big of an issue as it probably could have been back around February, March last year. So yeah, more side channel attacks. That's going to be interesting. I want to see someone actually do a full pen test where they actually take out and get in through a side channel attack. I want to see that paper. That would be awesome. But yeah, side channel attacks. They're here to stay, apparently. Transition. So, Charles, did you find out what that game was called?
Good. I haven't found it yet, but I'll come back to it. It'll hit me. I'll come back to it later. Apparently, and I just found this. This is pretty interesting. And maybe you guys already know about this. Capture the coin. Okay. So here's I'm gonna put it in the chat. Apparently, there's a online CTF with smart contract exploitation and double spend attack deep dives for crypto malware and others. Hold on, check it out. Click capturethecoin.org. So for all you Bitcoin hackers out there, you can do some cool stuff.
Did you throw it in the chat? Where did you throw that?
Yeah, I did. On YouTube. Sorry, in the YouTube chat. Sorry.
Okay. I don't have that pulled up. That's fine.
I'm so used to... I know, I'm trying to get out of throwing it to the Hangouts. So yeah, so capture the coin. So
what's Hangouts?
I know. It's gone. It's gone.
She gone. Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. It's gone. It's gone.
My baby's gone. So. Still don't have it. Well, that's fine. But no, that sounds interesting. Is it?
I'm actually trying to mess around with it. Actually, see what it's doing right now. It's gone. I hate these "I'm not a bot" things. No.
That's always the funniest thing when I'm doing OSINT and they're like, "Are you a robot?" I'm like, "What? Yeah. Yes.
I am a bot.
I am a robot.
I'm a legitimate one. Legitimate. Beep beep beep.
Oh,
see.
So, fun things that have been added to the lab. I bought a 3D printer and got that all set up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and you're going to love what I'm probably going to make.
Uh-oh.
I found a maker file for the original Soundwave helmet.
Oh.
Someone modeled out a 3D printable Soundwave helmet. So DerbyCon might be interesting. I'll be wearing many hats or helmets. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how many of them I can get printed.
I'm trying to be. I was about to say trying to be liquored up. No, LED'd up.
Yeah, that's another thing too. That'd be interesting to do like the Hack Your Derby challenge with.
Last one, so might as well go all out.
Might as well. The 3D printable stuff. Just 3D print your derby.
Yeah. And apparently, and I saw this, I think last night or earlier this morning, I can't remember what time it was. But apparently, if you've been to all 8 DerbyCons and you can prove that you've been to all 8 DerbyCons and you don't have a ticket, I am DM Martin Boss. Yeah, I saw him tweet that. So if anybody out there that's been to all 8 and they don't have a ticket, there you go. I don't know if it's still going. So I don't know if it's still going on or if he's like not doing it anymore. But I remember seeing that late last night or early this morning. I would say it was early this morning because MASH was playing in the background.
No, that's
usually early morning.
That's awesome because I know there's a couple people that have been, or there's a good group of people that have gone to each and every DerbyCon. I may not have been able to get a ticket.
Mm.
Oh man, It has been a day. Ugh, I'm yawning a lot.
Oh, so okay, just a little bit of background. So I just signed up for the Capture the Coin competition just to see what it's all about and see what I can actually learn. Now, the Capture the Coin competition opens August 9th. You can play online and at excuse me, and at DEF CON's Blockchain Village.
Oh, okay.
And you can, yeah, so that's going to be, so it starts at, you can also join them for the contest kickoff talk on August 9th at 11:40 a.m. Of course, Pacific time. And first round is for DEF CON attendees who scored. So the awards will be given in 2 rounds. So the first round is for the DEF CON attendees who scored the most points by like 10 a.m. Pacific time on Sunday, August 11th. Now there will be 5 prizes awarded and handed out during the Blockchain Village Award ceremony on that Sunday as well, but at 2 p.m. Now the second round is for everyone, including the online players. So anyone who couldn't make the conference, you can play, but you'll win stuff in the second round if you get really good. So whoever scored the most points by 10 a.m. Vegas time on September 9th. Wow. Okay, that might be a typo, but I'll find out.
I think that would be August 9th.
Yeah, August 9th. I'll remind somebody, whoever's in charge of this. 5 prizes will be awarded and shipped to the players, though. So that's pretty cool. And you just need a valid email address in order to participate, and just have some fun.
Wonder if there's any. There should be some other CTFs that are going on.
Yeah. Like I said, it's all kinds of fun stuff. So I just posted the rules in the YouTube chat channel.
Blah, 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 blah.
Right around town. Hey, Intelligent Perspective, how's it going?
Wondering if I'm gonna. Nah, it's last DerbyCon. I'm not gonna do the CTF.
No, I'm just gonna seriously, like I said, with the videos and stuff. I'm just gonna have fun and just, like I said, just hang out with you guys, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I'll be bringing some of my coworkers with me, so that'll be real interesting.
Oh, sweet! They get to meet the crazy one in person.
Yeah.
Oh. Just let them know I am a fun guy.
But
Yeah,
you're not
you freaking
a fun
mushroom.
guy.
And no, I don't drink. And no, this is not coffee cup. Just natural energy.
No.
Or as my coworker calls it, coke that nobody knows about. He
I was
swears.
say, what are you channeling Tyrone Biggums here or something?
No. Tyrone Biggums? No.
I know
Nope.
Jack's laughing his ass out because he got that reference.
Yeah? You got any more of them rocks?
Yeah.
You got any more of those
It is-
InfoSec cons?
Is this the 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
Crack giveaway? What?
Y'all got
No,
any
sir.
more of those? Y'all got any more of those BSDs?
Oh, yeah. I might have to rock it. I might have to rock a beastie. I need a new beastie anyway. I'm glad you reminded me. And a puffy. I never had the puffy because they always sold out in the BSD mall. So yeah, That's all for me.
On the subject of BSD, actually, I might be starting using that here shortly because I'm looking at FreeNAS as well as pfSense, which are both built off of FreeBSD. So I may be asking you questions on that, Charles. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, feel free, man. Definitely. I'll help wherever I can.
Yeah, same goes for like anything else, including the audience. Like our Twitter handles are somewhere.
I'll post mine.
Discord, like whatever. Like you got a question that we might be able to help with, ask. I'm for sure pretty responsive most of the time, but yeah. Or even just pointing you in the right direction.
I'm pretty responsive, but I don't answer on weekends, especially around 2 a.m.
What's going on in InfoSec? Well, DEF CON's this week. None of us are at DEF CON. The only one that's there is Israel. It would have been nice if he was on because he could give us a DEF CON report, but he's also working, so he's probably tired as all get out. Anyone hear of any massive oh wait, duh. Capital, did we talk about Capital One last week?
Yeah.
Dang it. Okay.
I mean, if you want to rehash it, we can.
I mean, yeah. I mean, let me see if there's any like developing stories on it, because that's another big like. Darren, you've worked in the credit card and credit industry. How big is Capital One in terms of the grand scope?
Very big. They're one of the top 5, I would say. Capital One, JP Morgan, Citi, Bank of America, and I don't know who else to be up there for that one in the U.S. I mean, if there's other big ones abroad like Barclays and things like that, but I don't know who else would be the big one up there. But yeah, they're definitely in the top 5.
All right, there's an opinion piece. Capital One data breach shows why it shouldn't be a tech company that does banking. All right, that's just your opinion, man. Here's something interesting. Remember how when Equifax dropped, there was all these lawsuits towards Equifax? So here's something new. Lawsuit filed on behalf of Wisconsin residents impacted by Capital One data breach. Madison, Wisconsin. A class action lawsuit has been filed on behalf of the Wisconsin customers impacted by the Capital One data breach. The suit alleges Capital One violated the Wisconsin Consumer Act when it failed to protect the private information of people who applied for credit cards with the company. Interesting. More and more stuff. Maybe that's going to be like the same thing that happened with Equifax, where people were actually able to get a little bit more than $144.80 or whatever the total came out to that you could get from the Equifax deals.
No, it's going to be a lot less.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot less. But in terms of Equifax or this Capital One?
Equifax.
Yeah. All right. For one, I'm still pissed on that, but we could do an entire show on that, and I don't want to know. Oh, did we talk about the GitHub thing in relation to Capital One? I'm going to assume no. So apparently GitHub is part of the lawsuit of some lawsuits from California.
Oh, I did see that. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was on mute. Sorry. Yeah, I did see that because they feel that GitHub aided in the attackers being able to breach Capital One because they posted the content, the hacking content, excuse me, on GitHub. That's why they're included from sources.
Well, then what's the difference between that and pastebin?
Exactly.
So, like, you're gonna.
I guess Pastebin's in trouble too. I guess
Everything's in trouble
Google's
this week.
in trouble. I guess Google's in trouble. I guess all the search engines are in trouble. Yeah, they're getting sued too. Interesting.
Well, why would GitHub get sued? Wouldn't that be Microsoft since it's their baby now?
Nope, because they're part. So here's the thing: Microsoft owns it, but GitHub is more in like a independent status. So GitHub owns it. It like owns the name, but GitHub itself, Microsoft doesn't have any decision-making power over it.
Microsoft's a sneaky devil.
Yeah, it's like Alphabet and Google.
Yep. Tickle, tickle.
Yep. So some more information, at least from this, from nakedsecurity.sophos.com. GitHub encourages hacking, says lawsuit following Capital One breach. GitHub is a code hosting platform for software development, version control, and uses Git, in which lets coders remotely collaborate on projects. Microsoft bought the open source project, blah, 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 blah. The suit says that GitHub had an obligation under California law and industry standards to keep off or remove social security numbers and personal information from its site. It says that it should be easy to do given that SSNs are all 9 digits long in the sequence of XXX-XXXXXX. But that GitHub nonetheless chose not to ditto for the other sensitive information that was leaked and posted, such as individual addresses, which are similarly readily identifiable. This is a very weirdly worded article with even weirder worded law nomenclature. The information was available on GitHub for over 3 months until one bug hunter spotted it and notified Capital One. 3 months! 3 months it was on GitHub, but does anyone know about anyone getting or suing GitHub over the amount of passwords that are in Git? In GitHub to begin with?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Fun fact, and don't Google dork this, but just go look at different like environment files and different like config files, and you'll find some interesting stuff. There are whole tools to comb through Git, like it's Git is literally like a public record library that if you put anything into it, it is very hard to get rid of. Like, so it's bad. So another thing about this, the ex-Amazon system engineer was arrested. Also known by her username Erratic on social media platforms for allegedly posting information on GitHub about stealing data from Capital One servers via a misconfigured firewall. Basics be your downfall. Which is kind of nuts. Like, it's always the basics. But yeah, it really doesn't go into a whole lot. I'm trying to find it. This is a very long article. It doesn't say how much GitHub's being sued for. The 28-page lawsuit filed on Thursday, and this was posted yesterday, so this would have been Thursday of last week. Asserts that GitHub actively encourages at least friendly hacking. The suit points to a GitHub repository named Awesome Hacking that lists resources for hacking, bug bounties, fuzzing, penetration testing, reverse engineering, and more. It's like, well, of course, because there's a whole industry around that, which we are in. Anyway, this is nuts. But like other platforms that host links to other user-provided content, such as that provided by Awesome Hacking, GitHub staff, or management aren't associated with that repository. Rather, it's owned by a GitHub user who identifies themselves as a security researcher and who claims to live in India. This is the weirdest article from a security blog. I'm just gonna say that now. It still doesn't say how much they're being sued for. I can dig into that a little bit later, but it's nuts. Like, that's something that is on par with like Pastebin being sued. And now Adrian is making a lot of noise.
Oops, sorry. Filling up my vaporizer.
It's all good. Yeah, Charles ended up dropping off the call. I wonder where he went.
He doesn't love us anymore.
That's okay. It might be Grumpy Hacker's time, which, it is Grumpy.
No, he did say, he put it in the chat.
Oh, he did drop off?
Yeah. He said he's going to hop into Grumpy Hacker, so.
All right.
Check the chat, guys. Come on, man.
I just saw it. I was in another window because I'm on my phone right now. Fun times.
Come on, Scrub, get good.
Why you call me Scrub?
Yeah, I call you Scrub.
No, you call me Scrub. I'm gonna drink my bourbon. Fun times in the InfoSec corral.
So there's not anything in the show notes exactly that we just covered, I don't think.
There's not much there at all to begin with, and that I do apologize for.
That's why, and I know it's my cast, but I don't usually have much to enter, and I was late getting home for reasons I'll tell you after the cast.
Okay. Well, just quick timing question. How long have we been going? Because I feel like it's been at least an hour and a half.
It's been 2 hours. Well, actually, no, less because I started way late, so I don't quite know.
It's been about an hour to an hour and a half, somewhere in that range, I would say. Let me just look at this stream and see what it says. About an hour and a quarter or so.
Okay. Man, I was spot on.
Well, for a shakedown cruise on the streaming software, I'd say it's okay.
Yeah.
If we don't have much else.
Well, we're also missing several of the big content, providers like, Israel, and Cappy's had an off day, so it's.
You've had an off week.
And also it's Black Hat and DEF CON. So
yeah,
it's Hacker Summer Camp.
It's probably a good week to actually have an experiment here because,
Guys, keep in mind in future, it may start at close to 7, or it may start a little bit after 7, depending on when we have glitches. We're still trying to work out things. I may look around with some other things to experiment with as far as casting is concerned. But generally speaking, I don't think it's too much Jitsy's problem as it is YouTube's problem. So I thought for sure this last weekend we had it working in panel view, didn't we? On the stream.
We did. What does it show that way on your stream? Or I'm sorry, your screen?
It shows that way on my screen.
Okay, that's weird.
But it does not show it in the actual YouTube stream.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a way to do that.
We'll have to do some more testing probably this weekend.
Yeah.
Or I can do some more testing this weekend because I want to kind of try this out for a couple of things. Maybe have another alternative where we can kind of do like a multicast kind of deal. But that would be more along the lines of a You're streaming it to YouTube. I'm streaming it to Twitch using OBS and all that fun stuff. Holy crap. Oh.
Well, I think we'll call this one a night. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so actually, I just remembered something I saw earlier today. If you guys are at DEF CON, I wonder if he already did his talk. I'm gonna find it real quick. But you guys remember all the Dell support assistant vulnerabilities that we've covered in the past couple of weeks here? So
oh yeah, I remember those.
So the guy that has released those, and go to his Twitter, or go to my Twitter just search Caprico or at Super Nate, but remove the E and Super and 8 instead of ATE. He has a DEF CON talk happening Friday at 2 p.m. in Track 2. About his research into educational software, which looks like it's going to be a good one. So I would go check him out, especially since this guy is in high school right now. So one, if you're looking to hire someone or whatever, the dude is insane. Go check him out. I really want to meet this guy in person because the stuff that he's been able to do is nuts. So, and I'm kind of sad that I'm not able to make it, but so supporting an up and comer because that's what happened with me.
Actually, that might be an idea. Adrian, what do you think about putting all of our Twitter handles on the show notes?
That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, because I mean, we're like, here's our Twitter handle, here's how you spell it, and it's like, that's a little,
yeah, it's like,
we'll leave that for some of the other notes at the very top.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Or we could just create a list of the regulars and put that out, and then link to that list.
Yeah.
Well, we're all here for the time being, and we can do that later.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Alrighty, that was all that I really have for the show tonight that I can remember off the top of my head.
I put one thing on the notes because I saw that and I was like, oh, that's neat. So there's encryption security technology inside of WPA 3 that is called Dragonfly, which basically, from what I've understood about it, it has client and access point authentication. They authenticate each other, kind of like how modern SIM cards do, or modern cell devices will talk to the tower. They trust the tower trusts the devices. But that can be exploited using an attack called Dragon Blood, which they've called it, of course, because it's not a real vulnerability until it has a nice hip name. Which for a while there was kind of unfeasible because of how much attack time it took and how much attacking power it took. It used to take over like $125 worth of processing power on, say, an EC2 instance to do it. They've actually dropped that down to about $1 using GPU instances on EC2. So now that becomes a hell of a lot more viable. Okay, so you can easily spin up a quick GPU instance on EC2 while you're doing a pen test and get in there with that way. So, unfortunately, the security features of wireless are still very much not there. I mean, wireless is fairly secure, but there's still a long way to go for it to be considered really secure. But that's the unfortunate problem. Is now that the attacks can be ran with very little overhead, no one's gonna pay $125 to pop your home network because that's just not worth it unless you have something really valuable in there. $1? Oh fuck yeah, that's now a lot more feasible. So.
Yeah, so just looking over it. So researchers discovered, and I accidentally refreshed the page, discovered 2 types of issues that can allow someone to recover the Wi-Fi or the password for a Wi-Fi network. They found that WPA3 is vulnerable to downgrade attacks, which can be leveraged to force the clients to use weaker security mechanisms and weaker encryption and side channel attacks. Hey, we just talked about those a little bit. Which can result in the exposure of information, yada, yada, yada. The researchers said at the time that these password partitioning attacks, which were similar, cost about $125 to compute and break a 8-character lowercase password. And now I assume that means that it's dropped down to $1 for that using those
Yeah,
GPU.
a little further down the page using GPU clusters. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Ooh, man, that is gonna be fun. Let's do it. I'm ready for my next wireless assignment.
Yeah, I need to bone up on some newer techniques.
Yeah, I mean, that thing WPA3 was released a year ago. It's officially released, but I haven't seen much technology using it still. It's still pretty new.
Well, I mean, is how we're gonna have to wait for all the devices to come out because that's the biggest thing. Is unless you have something in the form of like, I would think Ubiquity would get on top of this pretty quickly and be able to push in it.
Not Ubiquity. They promise too much shit and don't deliver.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's going to be everyone's going to have to upgrade to it, which means more devices, which means more money, and yeah, it's going to be bad. It's going to be a while, so we'll be on WPA2 for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still finding WEP.
Wow.
In some cases.
I should be surprised, but I'm not.
It's like, oh, found WEP. I'm in.
Yeah. God, I remember watching some of like the early WHacks videos on cracking web on like an old computer. This is like circa 2003, 2004, 2005, and they're cracking it in like 10 minutes. Nowadays, it's like done.
It's like, I'm in. But yeah. Looking forward to all the new exploits in WPA3. Yep. All right, and with that last drag of Adrian's vaporizer, take it away, Adrian.
Everybody, thank you for joining, and hopefully join next week when we'll be close to the time on 7 o'clock and see if we can get things a little bit more streamlined. Have a good night.
Have a good night, all.
Later.